it would be a big blow, it's not all over by any shot because he has plenty of ways to trap one of those other two decks so that he can still get the win.
Yep. And I think that DreadEye has even built his handlock to be decent in the mirror. We saw in the previous series how good the Rod ended up being because he just kind of won the arms race. He was able to get threats out earlier than McBannerface. And I said that I don't like the Rod in some matchups because your stuff is usually cheap enough already. And, you know, you can add in some more defensive options in that slot as opposed to the Rods. But when your goal is literally to just get to your Giants, Anetheron, Knolls as fast as possible, Rod helps you in doing so. And both players are playing incredibly fast.
I was thinking that. Thanks for that introduction, TJ. It's now turn 14. They're just rocketing through this. What's going on? Almost like they've played this in playtesting a couple of times. Who knew?
Well, DreadEye gets the Rod, but it was post-backfire. And so Luna is kind of winning this arms race at the moment because DreadEye doesn't have fantastic ways to turbo the Rod discounts. Luna will have the option for the first Flesh Giant here. She can play it as just next turn if she wanted. Even can fit in a tap alongside it with Tour Guide.
She might take that option with Ray's head in hand. It's nice to have, you know, your first couple of things die, something and a Giant, and then play the Giant again. It is a bit expensive, but it will slow DreadEye down, and she can do it twice, so it is very tempting. Was the question here as to whether she would tap or not? It's more things going in the Ray's Deadpool, but obviously it's more efficient to keep going through her deck. And now it's the decision time. By elimination, I think she might just play the Giant because there's actually not much else to do this turn.
So many possibilities.
Interesting.
It's just a 1 minion raised in. It does complete the quest. It reduces the Giant even further. It's only Tour Guide. But if she expects kind of like board parity, right, then this makes sense because she's completing the quest faster, she's cycling through her deck faster, and she also gets to empty more cards out of the hand this way instead of just playing the Flesh Giant, which means that it opens up some space for backfire to be a possibility.
Against that, the way she's played it is that it does give the opposing Soul Rend some steam. Does allow DreadEye to Soul Rend here and get quite a few cards burned through his deck. But at least they are burned, not used, so that's not bad for her. And as you see there from his reaction, one of those being the backfire is pretty bad news for him in this race.
Yep. We'll have 10 cards left in deck next turn, but so will Luna, actually, at the end of this turn.
And she's been playing hers, so she is getting the value advantage. We normally say burned cards don't matter, but if you're both going to get to the end of your deck and one of you's played those 3 cards, the other one has not, then they do matter. You've got 3 cards worth of value extra going on.
Yeah. They're both at exactly 17 health, which actually makes sense considering, you know, they've both been tapping roughly the same amount of times. Luna's played 2 backfires, but then one of them was nullified because of the second quest completion. DreadEye does have the ability for an insane turn next turn. We'll go down to 10 cards left in the deck, and then can play a free Baron Scavenger because the discount sticks. It'll go down to 1 because of the card text, and then the discount from the first Rod will make it 0. Get Giant down and Bloodshard Bristleback. And this is interesting from Luna. I think she's afraid of a big swing turn, so doesn't want to actually just throw the Baron Scavenger out there and let DreadEye have this huge swing. Instead, she wants to be the one who kind of drops the last threat.
Yep.
Just a turbo through the deck and get Flush Giants down. Holy moly.
Still can't believe that we're down to this few cards deck in the amount of actual time. I mean, it's not just 6 turns, that's surprising enough, but they are just rocketing through the game. That last turn from Luna, the only real slow turn in the whole game. DreadEye's just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah. Just play everything.
Yep. Well, it's up to Luna about Soul Rends and touches her, you know, how she wants to get through stuff. So, Soul Rend, double touch. Mortal Coil. There's plenty of stuff for her to get rid of here.
Doesn't play the second Flesh Giant.
Can't think of the reason for that. Like, if you're going to get soul rendered plus extras, I'd have thought you'd want the second Flesh Giant to survive the extras, but...
Yeah, that's interesting. All right. Luna.
Oh, he doesn't want to get Tamsin soul rendered?
I wonder.
Nothing that would happen?
But then it would add an extra Flesh Giant into the raised dead pool. It still has a Baron Scavenger. I guess just it assumes that in some form or another, his board can get cleared, and he'll need one more reload in order to win the game. Okay, Soul Rend Bristleback. That's a lot of information. And then I imagine will be an unstable Shadow Blast. Oh, okay. Thought the touch might be saved for Tamsin at a certain point in the game.
But again, Luna, with the plan she's been using all the way through, which is just use as many cards as you can, not preserving cards as you would in a normal Hearthstone game.
Yep. Wow.
Flesh Giant reload, it's a little bit lonely, but it's going to stick.
I guess the hold on the Shadow Blast 2 could just be for removal on another big thing, since she knew that a Flesh Giant was available at a certain point anyway. The Viper. There it is. You can get rid of the Mithril Rod.
No raised dead there from DreadEye last turn, by the way.
Wants a second Giant in the pool, I guess. And a Tour Guide, or a Tour Guide. That's Tamsin complete.
Okay.
Can Null Tamsin Blast? Like trade over the Giant and then blast and then deal that damage over?
Okay. That's sounds good, because that takes care of most of the things that look like they might go wrong this turn.
Yeah.
So many possibilities.
Then the 3-mana Tamsin in hand is completely dead.
Taking the last chance to play her Anetheron here. I'm not actually going to Tamsin at all this turn. Just valuing... We saw it happen to Fled yesterday. The Anetheron came late into his hand, so he never got to play it. And this is where Luna's hand is about to start emptying herself. So this was her last chance to get any use out of that, most likely. The hand size will get smaller from here on in. DreadEye lost that backfire earlier, didn't he? So doesn't have the sort of Soul Rend backfire setup that he would like.
Those are remaining cards for Luna. 2 Cold Neophytes, Flesh Giant, and a Null. So still some threats in the bottom, but no spells. And on the other side, remaining cards for DreadEye, Immortal Coil. Could be useful in Fatigue. Blood Mage Thanos could also be useful in Fatigue. Mana Feeder Panthera also useful in Fatigue.
He just goes through his deck immediately when he wants to now. Those cards just all draw through his deck.
From this point on, I feel like DreadEye has a significant advantage because we'll be able to stick threats on this turn and we'll be able to get through post-Tamsin a lot easier.
He does, of course, still have to complete, which Luna has done, and he does have to take care of this board, which is actually going to help him, but it is going to burn the cards we just talked about, which doesn't help him that much.
I mean, both of those cards just draw cards, so burning them is the same as actually playing them.
Unless you can... Yes, it kind of is. Slight difference because you can't soul rend sort of in fatigue for more fatigue, but you can draw cards in fatigue for more fatigue. That's what I'm trying to say, but I can't word it very well because I'm me.
This is kind of why I liked the Tamsin Blast last turn, because then Luna could have gone with the Bristleback Swing this turn.
Yep.
Because the board would have been cleaned up regardless, so whether you're playing a 7-7 or an 8-6 and a 6-6. It would have stranded the 3-mana Tamsin, sure, but I think the expected outcome here for Luna was just Bristleback plus Scavenger and nothing else, and hoping that the Raised Dead was poor, but the Raised Dead was not poor. It's good.
And 3-mana Tamsin's not going to do much anyway by the look of this, because now Luna's fully struggling to keep the game together.
Haven't heard of me.
Yeah.
Approaches at 10.
Right.
For the door.
Almost done with the last portion of the quest too, I imagine.
22-23.
Yeah, I think he just pushed the damage this turn, right?
I can't see anything
Battlemaster?
better. Yep.
Yeah, because then next turn...
Mortal Coil 1-1, why not?
Yeah, just to get fatigue rolling so that the Tamsin bursts next turn. Because the coil will take the tip fatigue and actually complete the quest for DreadEye. So that's like the other option, is just to go for Tamsin.
Right, and not the Battlemaster. So does that 11... It sounds like a lot, right? An extra 11 for the Battlemaster, but this is his choice. Is it actually worth doing that, or is it worth going for the Tamsin? But that's a lot of extra cards you need to draw to get 11.
Strike harder.
Okay, choosing to just save one removal spell. We get the Tamsin next turn. Outside chance he gets to coil twice. I think I'd like to have seen him just coil there. I've got a feeling he knows his end game better than I do. Mr. Hunt.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any pan out for Luna here that wins her the game. Last two cards are Cult Neophyte Flesh Giant. No immediate impact on the board. And Luna should know at this point what the last cards are, which just Tamsin plus unstable on anything, because the first Tamsin will be complete and then a tap. So even if we just look at the amount of damage next turn, DreadEye could play Tamsin, then go tap, which would be 2 plus 2, so that's 4, and then an unstable Shadow Blast.
Yep. And a Mortal Coil thrown in.
Yep.
Anyway, like, in fact, 2 Mortal Coils thrown in now.
Yep. That's lethal.
Multi-lethal.
Yep.
All of Stormwind shall share my pain.
And that's a massive deal for DreadEye because, like I was saying, it's not quite the same as before. He's got a decent advantage in all of the matchups this time around, apart from this mirror. So getting this mirror down puts him in such a strong position. You have to play the games, because that's what the game's for, is to be played. Your lineup's only a small part of it. Sometimes it's a big part of it. And DreadEye does seem to have nailed the lineup. But the handlock is out of the way. That was his hardest matchup and should be in a good spot. But there's brutes still to come. Those brutes, TJ, they can just desert you. They can just vanish.
Yeah, the Brute Demon Hunter is probably the weakest of the remaining decks. Not even because of the matchup spread, but just because it feels like it can be such an inconsistent deck. I guess Weapon Rogue's kind of the same, but you know, at a certain point, like you're gonna find the weapon in one of the games, and DreadEye has found weapon in every single one of his Weapon Rogue games. But maybe the finals is where that'll stop. But yeah, consistently winning the handlock mirror because of how he's constructed his deck, cutting the nulls and just adding in more draw so he gets through his deck faster. And he's playing the meaningful threats, instead of the flesh giants and the scavengers faster than his opponent on average. And it's just been working, right? He seems like he's always one step ahead, and that's because his cards cost less. And in the mirror matchup, when it is an arms race, that's what matters the most. So DreadEye going to move over to the Weapon Rogue. I do feel like this is Luna has better tools to be able to deal with it than McBannerface did.
Yes.
She's got Vipers in two of the decks that remain. Better equipped. I didn't say well equipped.
No, I mean, so in the handlock, which is the one that matters, she's definitely better equipped. Banterface did have, like, Shadow Priest, which just goes, that kill you on turn 4. That'll stop you winning with a turn 3 weapon. But yeah, in terms of the handlock, I do agree. She has teched and allowed for the existence of this deck, which Banterface did not do as such. He just built his lineup that happened to hurt this deck as well.
Yeah, but this is still a tough matchup for Luna regardless. Well, it's not the handlock, but it's Quest Shaman, but still, point still stands.
Yeah.
If they get an early weapon and, they can kind of keep your board in check. We saw this matchup where Muzzy had even a pretty good hand for Quest Shaman versus Weapon Rogue. Still lost because it just gives the Rogue time. And time is what they need. They can go over the top of taunts with some of the damage in later game with the way these current builds are constructed, with Guild Trader plus a ton of burn, with Garrote, Wicked Stabs, and Sinister Strikes being included into the deck. No weapon, but, doesn't matter. It's DreadEye. He's going to draw it.
Yeah, what we saw against Muzzy, just to make that really clear, is the Guild Trader and the Garrote you saw there. Basically, even though DreadEye couldn't hit face, he just kept drawing cards with the weapon, and then worked like a combo rogue, worked like a Garrote rogue. Play Guild Trader, play 2 Garrotes, draw a card, bam. 32 damage. Easy. Didn't need to hit face with a weapon. Still has no weapon, TJ. What's going on?
Still has 2 turns.
He's just saving it for the maximum impact on turn 3. He's saying, oh, come on. But come on, DreadEye, you've had some weapons. Come on. We did see IROC try to get re-promoted in the Masters Tour. Not get a weapon for about like 16 cards or something in the finals. That's
yeah.
Grim.
Oh, wow. Okay. No weapon.
No weapon. Still no weapon.
An answer for the 2-3, though. And it's still cycling. Can still cycle next turn as well. You can just shuffle a Garrote and swindle. It's not a big deal. You still got plenty of damage.
Luna's starting to build her own board.
Bloom. She's gonna rip it? Wants a Bloom Guidance Zapper?
Yeah, she's going to press the advantage while she can.
Yeah, Bloom Guidance Bolt instead. Take advantage of this, but that's only going one place this game, so might as well get it out of the way while it's dealing maximum damage. Unlocks first crystals. Next turn can go like Guidance Serpentine Portal, specifically if the spell damage sticks. Still no weapon.
Starting to matter now.
Job's done.
And the damage that Luna does not only is it relevant because she's got to do 30 damage to win the game, but if she does stick a taunt or two by the time DreadEye's got a weapon, if he's too low, he won't be able to just crash into the taunts to draw cards.
It's so bad. Wait.
It's an eyesore.
The spell damage was good, the zapper off the top, but the eyesore is an eyesore. If he doesn't hit a weapon from this passage, something's wrong. Alright, there it is.
Something's wrong.
Wants a different weapon. Doesn't want that weapon. Let's see if his greed pays off. It did not pay off. I mean, he had a weapon, he just didn't want it.
Gone past the point where it's useful. Feral Spirits would just shut him down, I think.
Well, I mean, he had Silverleaf Poison on the other side, like at least to like draw, I don't know.
Yeah, got a plan.
Yeah, this is the third overload, I do believe.
It's a bit of immaculate plan at this point, though.
Yeah. Now DreadEye's going to have to chain together these cloaks because this is too much power on board to... I mean, it's lethal setups. He could start...
Well... Has he got
trade?
lethal?
Another happy guilty.
Absolutely not.
So he's in trouble
The
then.
self-sharpening sword's like, see, you're stuck with me. And there's no way out. Yep. Didn't have enough mana to cloak both turns and set up the weapon with enough attack. And all right, well, the inconsistency of the decks kind of showing through. You know, we got the good side of Weapon Rogue for DreadEye in the series that we've seen up until this point, but that's the bad side, where a deck that's so all in on drawing one of 4 specific cards in your deck, it can have times where it doesn't draw it. And Brute's the same way, except it's only 2 cards. But you draw a lot faster, at least in the early game. So, Weapon Rogue falls once. Can it fall again? There's Vipers in the other 2, so... I
Did
don't
see
know.
there a glimpse of why that's going to be harder for the handlock, which is hurting itself. The damage that DreadEye was gathering, nothing to do with weapons, just stabs and such like, was starting to accumulate, especially with that guild trader. So the handlock hasn't even got the luxury of doing what it does and tapping that many times. Otherwise, it just gets guild trader stab stab, even if the weapon is missed. So that's why that's such a bad matchup. But yeah, nice for Luna to get that one, get the shaman out of there, and makes a match of it for sure. Bam.
Bam.
I know.
Exactly my thoughts. Exactly my thoughts. I was thinking right at that moment, bam, as well. All right, there it is. Handlock versus Weapon Rogue.
Okay.
Even with a Viper in the deck, it's probably 80+% favored for the Weapon Rogue, unless they don't hit a weapon.
No weapon there. Throw 3 cards away, look for weapon. Come on, Luna, do your mulligan. I want to see if there's a weapon turns up. Okay, what's Luna having a look at here?
Drain Soul's pretty useless because DreadEye just doesn't play any minions. You can Drain Soul your own minions, but...
Can she throw the quest? Is this the one matchup where it's possible?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think so, right? Like you...
Well, I don't think so, if I'm honest. That's why I agreed so quickly, but yeah.
If you complete
Well,
the 2 first
about it.
portions of the quest, that gets the stuff done faster. Just full mulligans. It's back. Oh! What the? Backfire Viper? Oh, man. That's
Got
the
the
juice.
things.
Why is that prep there? Oh, okay, there we go.
It's just hovering. It's big prep.
Job's done.
Another happy guilty.
Yeah,
Quite sure what it was doing.
still no weapon. It's like, well...
See what Luna thinks of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, start smacking.
Viper's going to have to chill. He's going to have nothing to target for a while.
She's certainly not trading it away, though.
No, absolutely not. It's just going to be there. It's just going to be snaking around. Ready to eat a weapon. Why do Vipers eat weapons?
I don't know.
Nor do I.
I don't think they're eating the weapon. I think
Like
it's more
corroding.
or yeah, like they're disarming you. You know.
Done.
Oh, I see. So I thought the acid was maybe aciding up a weapon or something.
Oh, that could
It's
be-
called a rust
rot.
viper. There's the clue.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rusts the weapon and the weapon rots.
You got me here, Neil. You got me.
Did it! I don't know. Can't get the staff these days.
So many possibilities.
Guess this is where Luna has to start planning how low on health she's willing to go.
More bones
Yeah,
to
and this makes sense to me. Could have played the Bristleback to try and get the lifesteal on the board, but I think she wants to be connecting with her own damage first. That's one way to stop your opponent hurting you, right? Is to make them deal with you. Weapon!
Now the big question for Luna is: do you blow it up right away, or do you wait for a couple poisons to be thrown on it?
On 19 cards, so if she wants to get the Bristleback active, or like getting any sort of lifesteal, she's just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way and play it.
Well, if she just taps, next turn she could play a Nethron and Viper.
That seems good.
Nah, just get it out of the way.
Sure.
He dug so
been
hard
digging,
for the
right?
weapon.
Agree. Yeah, he's been digging, so you know that the weapon was valuable to him more than usual.
Also a 3/4. Oh, he can passage again for a weapon. 3 left in the deck. Wicked stab. There's the
His weapon.
Shank, so gets it back. Luna could kill it off and raise dead. Oh my gosh. Bolt it and raise dead and blow it up. Oh yeah, there it is.
She just hovered
Oh,
over it.
there it is.
Takes 5 doing it, which is slightly scary. But she has a touch in hand, so she doesn't have to, does she? She can just...
I mean, she can go like tap, drain soul, touch, raise dead. Or not even raise dead, just the other two. The tap, which which completes the quest. Oh no, it doesn't complete the quest. What am I talking about?
One short.
Yeah. Well, I think she wants to be able to drain soul, touch, then raise dead, and then play it.
Yeah, yeah, and also, actually, this gives DreadEye a chance to... He might have to deal with these. If he can't cloak, he would actually have to remove some damage from the board because he's dead to Battlemaster.
Yeah.
So there's a world where he does the killing of the Viper for you. Not a very big world, because it would be the last thing he killed, but yeah. He has got that double cloak, which is pretty scary times.
Yeah. There's no silverleaf poison on this, so
Choose soon.
Okay.
yeah. So now it's the drain soul, touch, raise dead. Yeah.
And he knows it. Yeah, he's
DreadEye
tried to
knows it,
play
yeah, he
around it
knows.
as well.
Yeah.
Like, he was looking at removing things and just realised that his best option was to not do that and to double cloak.
Yep. And that's
I think that's why
one
he
of
might have kept the silver leaves.
Yeah, it's possible. But used a lot of the other poisons. I mean, so at this point, there's 11 damage on board. So Battlemaster would die, but he doesn't really have anything else to do. So if you dagger deadly poison, if you dagger Silverleaf and then cloak, nothing
about-
feels like it works.
So
Dagger, Garrote, and Cloak, and then next turn, Silverleaf, Garrote, Deadly, and close your eyes. You never get there. It never gets there.
I think you'd have to get a Silverleaf out this turn, and then Cloak, and then next turn go Guild Trader, Garrote, hit.
Sure, that's better. It's still a long shot, but it gives you.
Oh yeah, with the
that
prep,
helps.
too.
Yeah, no, he's got a chance.
Yep.
There's only 9 cards in his deck.
Yeah. So this is, especially if he picks up like a Sinister Strike. Oh
Like
yeah,
that?
That's lethal so many times.
What's the best way to do this?
Guild Trader, prep Garrote, and then
Yeah,
you hold on to the last mana because you can double Sinister Strike if you pick up Sinister Strike.
Yes. You always prep Garrote, right? That's happening. You always
Yep.
Guild Trader. That leaves you 2 mana.
So that's 8. That's 8 damage just from the Garrotes alone. 5 damage from the Sinister Strike. That's 13. 1 from the weapon. That's 14. So it would be 2 bleeds or a Sinister Strike picked up from the draw.
Potions, flasks, BOE, I got it all.
Can you cut it down to 1 bleed with the Deadly
That's what
Poison?
I'm trying to work out with the Deadly
It'd be
Poison.
3 damage, so it would be 15 to be 1 bleed with the Deadly Poison.
You do all the other stuff
Yep.
first, so that becomes clear.
Yep, so it's 1 bleed. It needs 1 bleed right now.
Yep. That would be lethal. But he only gets 1 draw this way. If he went with the Silverleaf, he might have got more draws, but yeah.
There it is.
Gets it done. What a great game. Luna killed both actual Shanks,
Yeah.
and the poisoned dagger gets it done. What a game.
So
He's really good at this deck. We've seen him do multiple different wins with this deck.
So I'm not saying I disagree with it. The only argument there is if Luna's supposed to destroy the second weapon right away.
Right.
Because DreadEye actually got a lot out of that second weapon before she destroyed it. Got a cutting class, got more damage out of it, right? Was able to activate a lot more things and get deeper into his deck. It would have cost her more health, right? She would have had to unstable Shadow Blast, which would have dealt 2 and then raised it. So she would have been at 15 that turn, then playing the Viper right away. The upside would be that she would have still Drain Soul and Touch, so as long as she survived the next turn, it would have been enough. So that's the only argument.
But DreadEye also managed to not put the poison on that Shank to give the... Knowing that the Viper could come back
He didn't have...
dead.
He would have never
He had
had
one
the
turn where he
mana.
could. Sorry, I thought he had a turn where he could. I'm wrong.
He never floated mana, and he did a lot of things with the mana that he did have.
He cloaked a lot. That was expensive. Yeah, okay. I'll take your word for
Yeah. So, I don't think he was like planning for second.
Right.
Because at that point, I just don't think you do.
it. Maybe she was waiting for the... Either way, she spent ages on the turn where she chose not to kill it. It was a conscious choice, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's impossible to tell which one's correct because
Yep.
she also would have not tapped, which meant that she's not getting deeper into the deck or getting closer to quest completion. She's taking more damage that turn. She's not putting as much pressure on the board because she's expending more cards. Actually, it wouldn't have been expending more cards over 2 turns, but whatever. So that's the caveat.
DreadEye had 2 cloaks, which we could see, but Luna has to guess how many cloaks there are. She hasn't got the same information as us in that regard either.
Yeah.
Oh, tough decision, but DreadEye did come out on top. Played it very nicely at the end there to get the exact lethal and to give himself the best chance of that lethal. Like you broke it down, the chance of the Sinister Strike on top, like just an extra thing he could get on top of all the bloods gave him a massive...
No, it wasn't, because he used the Deadly Poison. So he only
sorry.
for the Sinister Strike anyway. So he went all in on 1 bleed instead of giving himself 2 outs. He would have needed 2 bleeds or a Sinister Strike or 1 bleed. And
One bleeds better. One bleed is better.
one bleeds better because there's 3 in the deck. So he had 12 cards, so it was a 25% chance lethal. Roughly. I
Instead
think he
of
drawn the 8th card, so it was a 3 out of 11.
All right. Got the battle. Brutus Field. Fell Demon Hunter versus. What can we call this? I can say the word brute anymore. I'm going to like vanish or something. Like, do you look in the mirror 3 times and say brute, 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 and hope they appear or something? I don't know anymore. It's.
You draw a sigil and Tusk Piercer. That's what you do. That's how you make the brutes appear faster. Mathematically.
Yep. I'm not sure there's anything mathematical about brutes, TJ.
Yeah. Just gonna tempo the Viper. I really like this.
Yeah, when you see the Lion's Frenzy, you're already dead.
Most of the time, right? And also it's blocking the skull. Oh, well. It cuts off a draw as well, because they can't get the draw right away. No brute.
No, it just did a whole lot of nothing, as they say in the phrase. In the phrase? In the trade, as well. I mean, we say it every game, but how do you remove this board?
Even if you get brutes, like, you just can't kill a Moarg, so everything just deals double damage forever.
The 3/4 snake is just absolutely unstoppable. It's so stupid, I love it. But Luna's loving it more. She knows that this army of absolute garbage minions is pretty unstoppable, and she's making the most of it.
Yeah, Soul Chiller or Spiritual, who cares?
Like,
Luna's like,
those
play
sports
brutes. Play brutes, I dare you.
the kids forming their baseball team with anyone they could find in the street to take on the local brute team, and they're winning.
Well, this will be brutes.
TJ.
Brutes will happen.
Okay. Quite a few of them.
Wait. Okay. He spent 1 mana on that Eldar Series, or was it free? I think it was free.
You can still double brutes, is all I'm looking at.
Yeah, he can still double brute. He really needs to kill this Moarg, and he can.
Grows short.
Don't get baited by that. You philosophy, play the cheaper brutes. Fury, coin here, or oh no, he doesn't need a coin hero power. He has the Tusk Piercer. All right, he can coin brute. He's good.
Okay, cool.
Now he coins the brutes. Brutes McGee.
Turn 4, ladies and gentlemen. That's how turn 4 looks in our neighborhood. Right, now, if Luna can deal with this board, she's won the game, barring a crazy Lions friendly. And I didn't say that on purpose, it just happened. Contagious.
It is clear. An expensive one.
Does it matter that it's expensive, though? I don't think it does. She's got Skull ensconced on the left-hand side. Jace ready to go.
Yeah.
It's not nice that it's expensive, but she's got the reload and sort of a win condition ready to go, so I think she's okay to do this. Does she have to fall clear this turn? Can she wait and just leave it 1 brute or something? Looking at that option.
I grow impatient.
So Moarg. I can't get the leech, can she, into a good position? So yeah, going with the unfun clear.
Yeah.
But she's dealt with both real brutes, right? So
That's brutes are gone. Now just needs to stay as close to 30 as possible. That's also both or one philosophy gone. So DreadEye's got to be really careful here, to be honest. How much he actually draws.
okay, yep.
Drawing both soul fragments there is pretty bad. I just don't know if he'll be able to actually deal 30 points of damage.
Yeah, point you're making being that he's got to get the weapon, equip the weapon for cheap, and still have enough cards in deck with some reshuffles to be able to actually do 30 cards worth of points.
Yeah.
30 cards worth of points. What an English speaker I am.
Poor warlock.
Yeah, just play the things, draw more cards, set up the better Jace. Luna has one more turn to set up Jace, so just gonna play the stuff.
I don't think you play the Blood Mage here, just so you have Talented Arcanist, Blood Mage, or Immolation Ore to clear the 7/7.
Uh-huh.
My quest, my
There's also some lethals available, I imagine, with Il'gynoth, Chaos Leech, Blood Mage, Arcanist. There's quite a lot coming up there.
Never catch me.
Yeah, it's really expensive though. It's at least 8 mana. I would need more because the Chaos Leech would probably have to be in outcast position, so stuff off top would have to be dumpable. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, because she really doesn't want to take 8 from this board. Which means she's going to have to do other things, which means the skull's going to edge along to the left, which means it'll end up being uncastable and useless.
Yep, and you tempo the Il'gynoth.
Metamorphosis is a big pickup. That means that she can do that next turn, get the ping out of it, ping again the turn after, and then Jace. Amongst many other things.
The only way DreadEye can get enough damage here is by Illidari studiesing a glide.
Yeah. And even then.
And even then, yeah, he just doesn't have the mana to do it. Yeah, there's no way he deals 30. There's just no way.
Yes, he has to Spirit Jailer Acrobatics to have any chance, but he wants to Acrobatics first, so he doesn't hit the Soul Fragments, I think.
demons.
Well, he's got to win on this turn, I think.
Don't win on this turn.
Pleasure doing business.
Or maybe the play there was to go Lion's Frenzy in attack. Because Luna can't heal. Because there's an Il'gynoth.
Yep. And just do the damage while it's there. He's still thinking about it, actually. He might still do it. Do the damage while it's there.
Well, he's not thinking about it anymore. I mean, next turn's his last turn. Because this Il'gynoth will deal 8, and then it'll deal 8 again, and then Luna needs like a single card that does damage outside of that. Like Metamorphosis itself here sets up a 2-turn. So DreadEye has to deal 28 damage with 8 cards left in deck. That will become 12 cards left in deck because of double Spirit Jailer. Illidari Studies could hit Glide and make that
16.
an extra 4, 60. I just don't think he can get to 28.
He could do a little bit. Can he do a bit of trading? I don't think he can. No trade into trade shenanigans. Which I'm wondering if we'll see in this deck at some point, by the way. Oh, there's a Viper and a Peddler left. There is a Viper.
Yeah, but that's like all your mana. The maximum you can do if you need to spend 1 mana on Lion's Frenzy and 2 mana on a Cane is, like 5? 5 damage from infinite trades?
5 damage from infinite trades. That is not a deal that I want.
Yes, this isn't enough damage.
And he chose not to swing with it last turn for sort of 14 or something. Or 11, I don't know. It was a number.
So that's That's 5 more cards he can draw, plus 3 from the Fury. So that's 8. That's 15. No, there's no way that's enough.
Gonna keep looking. More fragments. He's up to 8, 10, 12, 13. Only 15 more to go from 3 cards. Another fragment.
Cards left.
Am I convincing you?
No.
Trying really hard.
The last card's a Soul Fragment, so he can't trade anymore. He needed to start trading her.
Oh, he's cost himself 2 damage. If he'd gone face last turn, would he have got there?
I will still fight.
Like you love.
Yeah, he would have. No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have. Because he drew... He glided last turn, so he drew a total of 5 cards, right? So Lion's Frenzy plus a Hero Power would have dealt 7, and he dealt 2 with his original attack. So he still would have been off. But I think that if he swings there, it's his best chance of winning. Because then if he swings there and let's say the Illidari Studies hits another Philosophy and he can Philosophy a Spirit Jailer, which at that point I think is the most damage. Because he can draw through his whole deck anyway. So just adding 2 more cards to the deck is his best out. If that can hit Philosophy, then swinging the last turn was his best chance. It would have been close if he had just equipped Lion's Frenzy and swung the previous turn. I think it would have been a lot closer. I would have believed that it was possible, whereas there I knew that it wasn't possible. So I think he was supposed to just equip it and swing, because he floated mana too. I get what he was thinking. He's like, okay, well, I need efficient damage for my weapon, so I'm just going to push 2 here. But in no world does he have an extra turn beyond that with an Il'gynoth on board. Even with that many Soul Fragments in the deck, he left, that's 12 power on board, so Luna would have needed 6 more points of damage, which, there was a Jace with 2 Chaos Leeches loaded up in it, and a Fury and a Chaos Strike, so, and an Il'gynoth on board. So, that was rough.
We're down to what I think has been the defining matchup of the week across all regions to some degree. It's the Brutes versus the Handlock. And although the Brutes, I personally think are reasonably favoured, can definitely go wrong. And we've seen it go wrong, I think, every single time on broadcast, pretty much.
Brute Demon Hunter always lets you down when it matters the most.
Yeah, you were saying that yesterday. It tricks you into thinking it's good. Blaze tricks you into thinking it's good. And then deserts it and plays Fell and gets the semi-finals. Meanwhile, he's left the legacy of everybody else just trying to find a way to make the Brutes happen when it matters. Here we are once again.
Brutes! That's a bad hand. That is a bad hand. DreadEye needs a glide. Stat.
He has nothing. I mean, the whole deck is card draw and he hasn't got a card draw card. Meanwhile, Luna has got a card draw card and a card draw hero power.
It's off the top.
Card draw card.
Runner off the top. Boom. Spectral Sight rolling it in.
Here they come. Gonna draw some cards, TJ. I think.
I see.
All right.
Still a little bit wobbly, but definitely in a slightly better spot than he started the turn, at least.
Absolutely.
Like you say, he really needs that glide to do the double action of restoring his hand and decimating Luna's.
Muzzle their magic.
Which we've just not seen happen. Somehow.
Yep. Oh, no tap. Wants to backfire first next turn?
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure doing business.
Okay, can still Spectral Sight because the Brute would reduce.
I see.
He'll draw 2 cards and then Brute will reduce. But it's just one Brute.
And there's no way where he can save it so he philosophies next turn. It's just too slow to save it, I think.
Yeah.
So even when you get your combo, you still desert the philosophy and just play the cards anyway, quite often. One at a time, boys. I wonder what's down that cellar. Once again.
So Luna was hoping that the Cult Neophyte would prevent a Brute from coming down in some capacity, just so that she could... The reason why she didn't tap last turn, I'm assuming, is because she wanted to backfire this turn and not run into hand space issues.
Yep.
Now, that's a little dangerous. The backfire is quote-unquote free because the first portion of the quest would complete. So she'd still be at 26, but now there's a Brute on the board that's a little scary because she won't have the protection of a Cult Neophyte again for the next turn. So there's a possibility for more Brutes to come down, and then if she doesn't hit, like... I mean, there wouldn't be a way for her to deal with it, but even if she did hit Soul Rend. So I honestly don't know what's the play here because it doesn't feel good to just, like, tap Tour Guide Unstable Blast. Oh, okay. Ray's dead. And then Neophyte Unstable Blast. So
I feel
now,
better.
yeah, now she does have the protection of a Cult Neophyte at least for one more turn. And actually have a reasonable situation lined up in the hand. And DreadEye's hand is still bad, and that just kind of makes it worse. A Glide would be fantastic here, so I'm thinking... Oh, no, he can't even
glide.
It up.
Glide would cost
to
too
trade
much.
away.
Pleasure doing
He can draw, trade Acrobatics, and just complete Kurtrus. But then he'd burn a card next turn. He'd have space for Kurtrus, but then Kurtrus would fill up his hand. Unless he picked up a Crimson Sigil Runner to just dump.
To take a turn off. I think if I was to take a turn off, I'd play the Sigil, which is interesting.
I don't think he wants. Oh, he did hit a... Oh my gosh, the nuts! Luna did everything she could to block progress for 2 turns.
Never catch me.
Job's done.
And he just powered through anyway.
Yeah, she's killed a Brute, and she's managed to get Neophytes down. And like you say, here we are, Kurtrus. Now she needs to get a rapid Battle Master plan assembled.
I don't even think it's Battle Master. At this point, like, her win condition is just to survive the damage. So get, like, Bristlebacks or something.
Okay.
Rushrock Viper is good because DreadEye won't be able to set up a 2-turn with Lion's Frenzy.
Bones to gnaw on.
Trouble is I guess he's down to only 12 cards. It's a monstrous Lion's Frenzy. That's the problem. Glide. Gliding? Can't glide Kurtrus away.
You can. Don't advise it.
Sorry, yes, it is. It is within the rules to do so. Counting up this amount of damage in the deck from the Frenzy, it is a lot with the Double Fury. We're not there yet. Just keep himself ahead on board, so Luna has to spend mana dealing with the Kurtrus. He's not expecting it to live, he's just expecting to force Luna to do something. DreadEye's
Such a difficult turn.
Yeah, I'm looking at DreadEye's hand and trying to work out Luna's turn at the same time. That's not the brightest thing on my part. I think DreadEye has a lot going on here next turn. I think whatever Luna does, she would want to be ending with a giant here.
Yeah. Well, from our perspective, DreadEye can't kill next turn.
Right.
He's got a full cost Lion's Frenzy in hand. He's going to need to glide, which is 4 mana. And I just don't think he'll have enough mana to play the Lion's Frenzy and draw the deck.
Yep, yeah, that's not happening for a turn or two until the effects of Kurtrus start to filter through the deck.
And he doesn't want to shuffle in Soul Fragments yet. Because he just wants to glide and pretty much stop there. He does need to make sure that he kills the 1/1 on the other side of the board.
Just to make sure he doesn't die to Battlemaster, that would be a sad way to go.
Yep.
Does he play the Sigil here? Because
Sigil and Hero Power, and that's it.
He's dead. Yeah.
Yep, Sigil, Hero Power, and that's it.
Actually, the problem with playing the Sigil is it's less things to glide twice or 3 times, but I think you still have to play it. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't want to. He knows he knows that he has to win next turn. He doesn't want to run to this.
Yes.
Wait, what's Luna's quest completion at? Is it possible that he would have just he just dies to Battlemaster anyway?
How would you?
If it was raised dead Battlemaster.
Okay. I don't know, but that's an option.
Pretty sure you just go to 30 here.
Yeah,
Close to it.
We've seen that the Frenzy doesn't find it hard to do in the region of sort of low 20s, and then every point after that is so much harder.
The alternative also is to play Baron Scavenger to force Kayn, mana expenditure on Kayn, but 8 mana is just so much.
You get accustomed
Interesting.
to the smell.
Now you Mortal Coil and touch away your Tamsin. Oh, this is really smart. This is as good as it can get. 29 with a Taunt Away. So that forces DreadEye with Viper in hand. That forces DreadEye to spend the 2 mana on Kayn, the 1 mana on Lion's Frenzy, and kill this turn.
Yep. Really nice work from Luna. She's played great all week, to be fair.
I think this is still lethal from DreadEye, though. He's got access to, 3 Spirit Jailers? So that's 6 Soul Fragments, a Glide, so that's essentially 4 extra cards, plus 2 Furies in the deck. This is 30 easily. He just has to execute it well and not spend mana on anything extra. Getting the double discount on Glide is actually huge because it's one of the only cards in his deck. Actually, besides the Kayn, it is the only card in his deck that actually benefits from the Sigil discount because he had played Kayn, so the other discounts were already free.
Look at the timer, TJ. The blue bar under his name ticking down. He's getting low.
He's got plenty of time.
He should have enough.
Needs to keep space for Kayn, though.
Time grows short.
He can't play that Spirit Jailer.
Pleasure doing business.
Nope. There it is.
Okay, now he
Only on
needs to
16
fight.
at the moment.
He didn't hit Kayn. He's out of draw.
All right. Can Luna get through, though? That's the next question.
Oh, no, he did hit Kayn. Is he 1 off?
Hide behind your curtain.
24.
He'll find you.
He's
7.
He's
28.
1 off. He's 1 off.
And there's a 0 mana Spirit Jailer in his hand. I have no idea. I lost track halfway through, but somehow he didn't get there. Now, can Luna get through? Surely she can get through somehow. She's got to do 17. She can't get through.
No, she can't get through.
Can she remove enough? Because DreadEye has
tap.
nearly no damage left.
She can tap for free.
Possible.
She can gain 12 and remove both of the minions. The big minions, the brutes. DreadEye can't get much more damage from his weapon, probably. I don't think he... Yeah, it's hard to say if he's got Fury left. It's the one thing our tracker doesn't track.
Right, she's 2 away from quest completion, so that gains life as well, right?
I'll give you that. I don't know if I'm honest, but I'm going to assume so.
Wait, why the bristleback on the cane?
Because she's only going to kill one brute with her 8/8.
You trade over with the flesh giant on one, you double bristleback the other. And then you trade over the cane with the scavenger.
Yeah, I agree.
Not many cards left.
This is 5, 6.
Pleasure doing business.
Is his other card the Viper?
Not many cards left.
Yeah, it's still lethal.
7 more damage.
Pleasure doing business.
Yeah, it's still lethal.
Oh. What a tournament, what a series, what a game, what a match. Everything. What a week it's been, TJ. So many decisions from each player all week, and DreadEye has come out on top of the week. I don't think a single player made 0 mistakes this week or even close to it, but that was some exciting Hearthstone. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was. I don't think there was a sequence of panouts that DreadEye could have gone for that got him lethal the turn before. But I mean, he just built up big brutes. Like that's still a big board to have to deal with as well. And I think even if Luna had gone with the double bristleback on one brute, trade over one brute, trade over the cane, because of the double tradables being the last 2 cards, DreadEye had lethal anyway. Because he, like you said, he could have just kept trading back and forth for 6 more mana. He had 14 damage with just the weapon, and he would have been able to easily get through the 2 health of taunts left on the board. So,
yep.
Nicely done, nicely done. And that was through 2 neophyte turns early game. Still managed to muscle through and complete quests, which is insane. That never happens. And it was off the back of the double Tusk Piercer because, you know, Crimson Sigil Runner and Tusk Piercer are the 2 draws in the deck, like mechanics in the deck that aren't affected by the Cult Neophyte. So, yeah, good lineup and some solid play from DreadEye. Just gets there despite the double Viper lists.
And
Luna not able to even stop Weapon Rogue enough.
We don't see a giant amount of emotion from DreadEye. He's always sort of raising an eyebrow or sort of cocking his head to one side. But that was an outpouring of, look, I've been meaning to show you for a while what I can do, and finally, you know, gets over that finishing line. Does get to the Sunday and win the tournament. I think that